Today we introduce the magic of 3-yard quilts.
What makes them so magical?
Let's reveal the secrets.
Keep watching.
Hi, I'm Donna Robertson.
And Fran Morgan with Fabric Cafe.
We're so excited we have a new book for you, and let's get right into it and reveal all of the secrets to 3-yard quilts.
Yes.
Okay, this one is called Allure, and it's the first quilt in the book, and we're going to talk a lot about the patterns and what makes them so magical. So let's put that one on the table. And the number one thing, I think, is how easy it is to select your fabrics.
Absolutely.
So all you need to do is select a focus fabric. The focus fabric is then taken out of the equation, and you select a light and a dark that coordinates with it.
That is so simple.
Easy peasy. So we're going to put the focus fabric in this block. It usually lands in the most prominent block or the most prominent place because you want those focus fabrics to really show up.
Yes.
Then the number 2 fabric is this wonderful, yummy, creamy color, and it becomes the background that really causes the elements of the quilt to show off. Now, the companion fabric number 3 is going to be just that, the accents in the quilt that really cause the punch by making these two stand out as the stars.
Love it. And this is such an easy quilt. It just looks simple to put together. I think it's going to go together super fast.
I think so too. Now, this particular kit is called French Bistro 8022469. The pattern is called Allure, and it's from the new book, The Magic of 3-Yard Quilts. And you can get an alternate pattern. If you're just buying one kit, you'll get one free pattern, and that is going to be Pretty Please.
Our next brand new quilt design is called Dazzle. Now, Dazzle is made with these gorgeous fall colors that I absolutely love, and it's looks a little complicated, but one of our little magic tips is we have such clear diagrams to put it together. We're going to show you that and this great fabric.
I love this one, Fran.
I do too, actually. It came together just so beautifully. And as we were mentioning before, so before we get into the fabric, I just wanted to just show really quick. I'm going to pull up the pattern here. We have just some great diagrams that help put these quilts together so easily.
Absolutely.
It makes it so simple. So we're very clear on everything and how they're put together. So let's look at this fabric. I love it. So just some yummy spicy fall tones. So good. So this is our number 1. It is the sleeve fabric, and it goes everywhere you see here, and then in our half square triangles here. You take the focus out of the equation and you compare the next 2 fabrics. Our lightest is our number 2 fabric, and it goes in this section here. And I just love how the little bits of gold on this pick up the gold outlines on the leaves. I really think it gives it that shimmer. It's kind of like the sunlight on those autumn leaves when they're changing. And then our number 3 fabric is this gorgeous dark gray, which is kind of a mimic of our focus fabric, and it's going to go on the border in all of these parts here. And it just is striking, I think.
It is so gorgeous. And you know, it's always fun to get 8 brand new patterns.
Oh, my
and so
goodness,
keep in mind as we're showing you these patterns that you can get this brand new book free when you buy 3 kits.
So let's get the kit information on this beauty. It is called Autumn Evening is the kit name. The number is 8022467. The pattern is Dazzle from the brand new Magic of 3-Yard Quilt book, and we are suggesting the alternate pattern of corner plate.
I guess you could say every time we do a new book, it's a delight, and this one we decided to name it Delight. I fell in love with this fabric. It is a faux batik. Let's put that up on the table.
Mom, I love this quilt. This is just so fun.
I do too. And you know, one of the things about our quilts is that we also use a lot of strip piecing. Yes. If you've done strip piecing in the past, you know how it speeds up the process. So in this particular case, we've got a block that looks like it might be just slightly complicated.
It does look complicated.
But it's not at all. That's what's so cool about it.
That's great.
So we do a lot of strip piecing. And that is one of the magical things about the 3-yard quilts. Now this, as I said, is a faux batik. This particular fabric is your number 1, and as you can see, your focus fabric is your largest fabric print. And we're going to put that right here. And then we need that light fabric in the background so that the elements really pop. And isn't that fun, the way it does that?
It does, and it pops. It really pops.
Yes, I love that very much. So this one is a little white circle, and that's going to be your number 2. That's your backdrop so that you can see the accent fabric, your number 3. See how it's making the accent here? And we usually use it either in the border or the binding as well. Now this one is called Retro Blues 8022470, and it's the Delight pattern from the brand new book, The Magic of 3-Yard Quilts. If you don't take the book free, then you will get It's a Snap as your pattern.
Our next new pattern is called Enchanting, and this one is bold and bright and just so much fun. We have a nice big focus block here, so we always love to include those in our books because it really does show off that focus fabric. And of course we have a great strip piece border here with a little diamond here. And it might look a little complicated, but our cutting instructions are so simple. That's one of the reasons why they're a little magical, is because it's so simple. Let's check out the fabric kit for that. I love this fabric. Now, something I want to mention about this fabric, and then we'll talk about cutting instructions again, is this focus fabric is an ombre. So whenever you see it right here, it kind of looks like it's all the same color, but it kind of goes dark and light, which gives you such a great variance in your quilt without even changing fabric.
Well, you know what's really funny is the first time I saw an ombre, I opened up a bolt of fabric that we got, and honestly, I was just kind of a newbie at the time, and I went, there's something wrong with this fabric. But you can see how this goes dark.
Yes, and then you can just like open it up here and you see how much lighter it is on the inside. It gives such variance in your quilt when you make it without changing the fabric.
Isn't that cool?
It is so cool. So one of the things we were talking about that makes 3-yard quilts so magical is the simple cutting instructions. And on this one, it is absolutely no different. We actually distinguish or highlight those cutting instructions there so that they're set apart and they're very easy to see and very easy to step through. And this one, of course, is no exception, so it's simple. All right, let's look at this fabric. So our beautiful ombre for our number 1 goes in the big block here and in our diamonds here. Very fun. Now our number 2, we went with black and whites here. And the number 2 is a little bit larger print, but I think it's fun, and contrasts so well with our focus fabric. It gives us that pop.
It's so much more interest that way.
It really is, and it's just very playful. And then our number 3, staying in that black and white colorway, is I don't know if I would call this a polka dot, but it's almost like a paintbrush mark.
That's what I thought, yeah.
Yeah, and it's great. So that goes on the border, and of course also bordering our blocks here. So it just adds so much interest. Just love it. So this one is 8022465. It's called Mandala Mystery. The pattern is Enchanting from the brand new Magic of 3-Yard Quilts book. And if you don't take the book, then we will be including the town square pattern with your kit.
Now this one is called Fascination. And one of the things that's fascinating about this particular quilt is we offset the more complicated blocks with a strip like this, so it really caused it to speed up. So we try to take into consideration how much time you're going to be spending on these. We also recognize that the consistency of language is very important. So we actually go over our patterns over and over again, and several people read them to make sure we're saying it the same every time. Yes. So that once you get used to one of our patterns, it'll be a breeze for you to read and know exactly what it is that we're trying to say.
I agree. It makes such a difference.
It really does. Now this is the beautiful, beautiful fall fabrics.
Gorgeous.
Isn't it gorgeous?
Yes.
And I wanted to show it off. So we had purchased this fabric and I wanted to find the perfect pattern to show it off. And what better way than putting a strip of it right on the quilt? And it does just that. I hear often, this is so pretty, I don't want to cut it up. So we try to preserve as much as possible of these big, beautiful prints.
It is gorgeous.
Now this one is accented with gold, which also adds that little shimmer and shine that we like so much. That's our number 1 fabric. Our number 2 fabric is this creamy, yellowy gold, which really picks up the colors in the pear, and it's going to help to offset your accent colors of the burgundy, which also has the wonderful splatter of gold.
It's just beautiful. You know, this is one of those quilts that, yes, get the kit. I would love the kit, but you know, you probably want just a little bit extra to make some, either a extra border or maybe some some extra pillows or something. And if you haven't checked out our Fabric by the Yard tab on our Fabric Cafe website, do so, because all of these fabrics will be available by the yard so that you can do those little extra touches.
Now that fabric is kind of limited because we can only buy so much fabric from the manufacturers.
Yes.
So be sure to rush over there and get it now.
Yes, and this is gorgeous.
It is. Okay, now this particular kit is called Fascination. The name of the kit is Season's Bounty, 8022466. It's from the book Magic of 3-Yard Quilts, and the alternate pattern is Happy Go Lucky. The next one that we have, I had a lot of fun doing this one. It's called Flights of Fancy. So I did these flying geese here, and I picked out these nice, soft, romantic colors because, you know, whenever you're off on those flights of fancy and you're dreaming, they're kind of, you know, soft and yummy. They don't have any sharp edges to them at all. Whenever I'm dreaming all perfection.
And you're dreaming in some beautiful colors here.
Oh, yes. This is another one that whenever I saw the fabric, I was like, oh my gosh, I love this.
So pretty.
I think I love almost all fabric. I just, you know,
Yeah,
I love
that's
fabric.
true.
Okay, so this is the number 1 fabric, and we put it here in this particular block, and it is the largest block, so it's showing it off. But I also like to use fabric in the borders that are a little more showy, so I really like that. Now the number 2 and 3, I like putting a subtle print, like you were talking about your circles, and it was a little bit more bold. This one is more subtle, so it just kind of falls to the background, but it adds texture and interest to your fabric. And then number 3, again, it's that dreamy, cloudy, pinky,
Yeah, it's so pretty.
apricot color. I
Yes,
was
and it
trying to
picks up
find-
all the pretty apricots in your floral.
Oh, that's right. Look at that.
It
Isn't that
looks
gorgeous?
really nice.
So this is one for somebody that's a romantic dreamer for sure, like me.
And you know what's really cool with our patterns, and one of the reasons why I think they're so magical, is because any 3 yards will work in any of the patterns. So if you choose a different kit but want to do a different pattern from the book, you could certainly do that, and
Absolutely.
it's great.
And if you want to get adventurous, you can also switch your color placement because it's exactly the same amount of fabric.
Yes.
So this one is Floral Escape, 8022463. Flights of Fancy is your pattern. It's from the new book, The Magic of 3-Yard Quilts. And remember, you can get that book free when you buy 3 kits. The alternate pattern is Christmas Forest, which would be an adorable quilt.
Our next brand new pattern is Splendor. And this one's a lot of fun, and it's really easy. So we've got a neat half rectangle block on this one that sashed so beautifully, and it's just bold and fun to do. Now, another one of our little tricks and secrets for making our quilts so magical is they are so simple to make. So let's check this out over here on the table and look at fabric. So I know that a lot of people have made half square triangles. I always have to check myself when I say it because I say it backwards. But not everyone has done a half rectangle. And actually, they're really fun and very simple to make, and our instructions step through very simply with great diagrams for that. So,
And don't we also have a video on how to make half rectangles? See, there I go, half square, half rectangle.
we do, and it will show you step by step on how to do it. You should check that out. Go to our tutorial part on our YouTube. So this is great fabric and so much fun. I love the really bold, fun, crazy fabrics, obviously, I guess. And this was no exception. I just loved this. So all of these turquoises and blacks and whites. And there is just a little bit of gold on this fabric, which I think really kind of brightens it up a lot. And of course, this is our focus fabric, and it's going to go everywhere you see it here in our half rectangle. Then our number 2 is just this white with a little gray dot. And I chose that because it's not just a solid, but it picks up the little dots in the focus fabric.
Oh, yeah.
Which I really liked. So I think it just gave it a little bit of interest, but the contrast was still there. And then, of course, our number 3 fabric, being the darkest, picks up the turquoises in our pattern here for our sashing, which really just pops. So let's get the kit information on this one. This kit number is 8022464. It is called Glamour, and the pattern is Splendor from the brand new book, The Magic of 3-Yard Quilts. And if you choose not to take the book, then we will include the alternate pattern of Through the Window Again. Next pattern is called Topiary. Now, whenever I did this one, I really loved it. I loved the fact that it's one of those 1-block quilts, which is kind of fun. And I just did them in 2 different colorways and turned them around so that it looked like a beautiful topiary growing in a garden. And what's really cool about our patterns, all of the patterns in the new book have enlargement instructions. So let's show you those over here as well as the fabric. I love the fact that any 3 yards of fabric will make any of our patterns, which is such a great thing. And it makes a very nice size, lap size quilt. They're usually 45 inches by 60 inches, which I think it's a great snuggle quilt for the couch. So it's perfect. But if you really fall in love with it and want to make it a little bigger, every one of our patterns in the book do have enlargement instructions with them. So that we've got the twin, so you just get 2 kits for that, or a queen king, and it just takes 4 kits for that.
Love it.
So it's very simple. Now what's really great, don't forget we have a book deal. Buy 3 kits and you can get the book for free.
And there's nothing like 8 patterns, and every one of them is written for 3 sizes.
Oh my goodness, yes, it's perfect. So let's talk about the beautiful fabric on this topiary quilt. Love this fabric. Once again, bold, bright, just so yummy. So our number 1 is this beautiful just splash of color with all of these mums. And I have put it in this position here. And as I mentioned before, these are just squares that have been rotated, and it's basically a 1-block quilt, so it's so super fast and easy. Now I put the number 2 with this fun kind of a geometric print here, and it divides these little sections here. And I think it adds interest. It's almost like if you're in a garden and it was on a piece of lattice, this would be the lattice.
Oh,
so
cool.
that's kind of what I was thinking whenever I did that. So I really liked it, but very stylized and very bold. And then our number 3 fabric has very similar coloring as our number 1, which is why it works. So I stayed in the same color family, and then I did the same thing. I put it here on these blocks. So I think it is really fun and definitely looks like a garden full of flowers.
Absolutely.
The information on this kit is 8022468. The name of the kit is Garden Trellis. It is the topiary pattern from the book Magic of 3-Yard Quilts, and the alternate pattern is Trellis.
Well, it's always so much fun to have a new book. And Fran and I have fun together because we'll come to work in the morning and we'll go, look what I did last night.
We do that. Look, see, I just love this one.
We can't wait because we're such big fans of each other. And it was a lot of fun doing this book together, and we know you're going to enjoy it just as much. So, go ahead.
What was your favorite pattern that you saw today? We would love to know. Write it in the comments section down below.
It's Donna Robertson
and Fran Morgan with Fabric Cafe.